Welcome to CTV's broadcast of East China High School Sports, presented to the community by Magda. Let's join our announcers now for all the action of East China High School Sports.
Good evening and welcome to Game 9 of the 2022 high school football season. As we see the 7-1 Port Huron Northern Huskies coming to the East China Stadium to take on St. Clair Saints at 3-5. And Denny, I think Port Huron Northern is all but assured of being in the playoffs this year. I know that's it's a different system now for a strength of schedule, so sometimes a team with 6 wins or 7 wins might not get in, and a team with 3 or 4 wins can get in. But I think they got a real strong shot regardless. But I could be wrong. I think St. Clair still has an outside chance, considering the points.
I think that I would agree with you. I think Northern is in, and St. Clair has to find a way to scratch out a win here tonight.
And, you know, there's either way you look at it, with playoffs looming, I think there's something always special about the last regular season game of high school football season, particularly for seniors, that by far the bulk of them will never play football again with pads and a helmet on. So there's a finality of it that makes it a little, I think, extra special sometimes for those kids.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I think that all during the week the seniors were talking about, this is it. But when you go out there tonight like they are now, it's like, this really is it.
Right. And sometimes even as kids particularly, it doesn't even hit home really until the last whistle. Yep. And that's when you see the tears in the end zone. Yep. The happy tears and the sad tears, but, you know, the reality of I'm never going to be able to do this with my buddies again. Or at all, period, because, again, it's not like they're going to play rec football as they get older or intramural football when they go to college or whatever. And here we go. It's underway. Kicks off down to about the 5-yard line. And taking nice return. Oh, the ball's on the ground. Not sure who got it. I think St. Clair did recover down at about the 19-yard line. Couldn't quite see who it was got with the return on that.
The way it looks on the sideline, LeDuc was the fellow who recovered the fumble for the Saints.
In the right spot at the right time with the right amount of hustle, because that was pretty important to start the Saint game off. You don't want to turn it over on your own 20. So they're going to start with the ball on the 20 on the right hash. Quarterback going under center all of a sudden. And they give the ball to Luke Gabriel up the middle. About 3 yards.
Logan Ellis with the carry. Picks up 3. Stopped by that interior. The
you know, a lot of times people want that big play all the time, but, you know, anything positive, particularly 3 yards or more on first down, is a positive play.
Absolutely. You get 3, and 3, now you have a decision to make.
Correct. So St. Clair's split slot to the left, split out to the right. Right directly to the quarterback, and he keeps it up for maybe 4 yards, almost 5 it looks like. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 5 from the 25.
Alex Armstrong on the tackle. Brings up 3rd down and 5.
You know, when we were talking about the seniors particularly, looks like St. Clair's going to take a quick timeout here. But, you know, we were saying, oh, I'm sorry, you're right, the kid for Northern, I can't see the number. Do you see that was, Coach? Nope. I saw him early on was down, but I thought he had been up because I saw someone grabbing his hand to help him up, but it must have remained down. Let's just hope he's all right. But as I was saying earlier, you know, we were talking about the finality of it. Sometimes people see that as a seniors, and obviously that's obvious, but you know, sometimes it's the underclassmen. That might be the last game for whatever reason, whether they decide not to play, whether they suffer injury, they move, all kinds of things get in the way for high school kids. And sometimes those kids don't realize until it's too late that they should have taken advantage of that moment as well.
And that's well said, that they don't realize it until it's too late.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is up under his own power. He's walking a little gingerly. Now he's jogging, so I can't tell if that's a knee or an ankle issue, but it didn't look up into the hip, so the bottom half of his leg looked like his left side. He's moving a little gingerly, but here we go, back up to 3rd and 5 here. Ball roughly right in the middle of the field. And they're 2 by 2. Halfback set to the left. He's going to throw it quick. Out route to Hunter Richardson, but a little off the mark, and that's going to bring up 4th and 10, or 4th and 5, with the punt team coming out.
It'll bring up 4th down and 5 for the Saints.
So I don't know, Dan, have you had a chance to see Port Huron Northern all this year via film or anything?
I have
or
not.
in an audience?
No, have not.
I haven't either, so this would be the first time to really get to see what their offense is going to be about. Quick punt. Get a nice roll, real nice roll.
Yeah.
It's going to go down to about the 31-yard line. So didn't totally flip the field, but certainly did not give Northern good field position. So that's sometimes a punt, nobody ever likes to punt, but sometimes it's the best thing to do and can help the cause.
Well, and I see that the Saints obviously have film and have scouted Northern, because Logan did not do his usual rugby style kick. He did not come in this direction.
No, he didn't. That's a great point. It was a one step and get it out of it. But with the same effectiveness.
Yes.
There was no return. Guys got down there in plenty of time to put down the ball. Then was the trips to the left, single wide out to the right. And the gun back to throw quick. And out to the single receiver on isolation side. And number 11, it looks like, Kane Cole, for about a 6-yard gain. Going to bring us 2nd and 4 from the 36. Second and 5 from the 36.
Well, this is the kind of offense that I thought that Northern had, even though I hadn't seen it. Just what I have read about it. Mm-hmm. It was wide open. They like to sling the ball around.
And that's what, at least my recollection from Coach Rollins, who's been there for quite a while now. That's what he's done for quite a while, and my observations going against him as a coach and also watching. Look, a little read option there. Just an RPO there, almost picked off, it looked like. The RPO there was, instead of run pass option, it was run pass oops at the end. Almost threw it to the opponent.
Had a different connotation.
Yes, it did. Oh, mama. So we're going to bring it to 3rd and 5. Northern again comes to slot this time to the left, but they're utilizing an ISO back, that offset eye kind of look. They run a little trap back inside. Oh, nice fill, though. I don't know who that was. Is that 36 Cade Meredith?
Yeah, I think it was. Nice fill, and the blocker ran right by the tackle.
Yes, he did. But he took the right angle, and they came right down. There's no hesitations. That was a real nice play by young Mr. Meredith. It's going to bring us 4th and 3, and I do see Northern is bringing their punt team on as well.
I think early in the game, that's a smart decision. You don't want to give the Saints the first score.
No, not
ignite a fire.
Like everything, there's cycles, but the trend these days in football at all levels is the analytics and playing the aggressive. Yes. And I remember reading 15 years ago about, nice punt by the way, down inside the 10, down to about the 9-yard line. Again, no return, punted it away from the returner, couldn't get to it, and rolled down to the 9.
There's a weapon right there.
Yes, indeed. Well, as we just said, the punt's sometimes a very effective weapon, and well done there. But I remember reading probably 15 years ago now when the rage in California was never punt. There was a coach that was a mathematics guy, and he did all the analytics about how often when you punt from a certain area, it turns into points. So even on his own 4, he was going to go for it because they give you 4 downs. Again, right or long and wrong or what you can do, but that's the trend is go for more often a 4th down in precarious situations. A little bit of a miscue in the backfield on the mesh. Unfortunately, it looks like he was able to get back for maybe a yard or 2. Made something positive of what looked like was about to be a disaster. So 2nd and 8's a whole lot better than what it looked like it was going to be to begin with. So we're going to have 2nd and 8 from about the 11-yard line from the right hash. St. Clair 2x2. And a halfback offset right. Again, it's hard to see the numbers.
Uh-oh.
Looks like somebody jumped a little early on that.
Prior to the snap, encroachment.
Oh.
Defense.
All right, encroachment.
You are penalty. You play that out.
Well, that's going to move it out to 2nd and 3. And that certainly helps the Saints' cause quite a bit here because it gives you, now you're just looking at about 1.5 yards, 2 yards of play to get out of this because at this point you're just trying to get a couple first downs together to keep the field position in check. And so you run to a much tighter formation this time. Clearly a run formation. He may have gotten it.
Ellis with the carry. Pickup of about 1.
Nope.
Brings
Right.
up 3rd down and a long 2.
So 3rd and 2. Logan Ellis on the previous carry, but it was bottled up pretty well by the Northern defense.
It's what you had mentioned. It looked like a run formation. It was real tight in there. There's not a lot of room.
No, and so obviously I would think that's something they've seen on film in certain formations. This is what you're going to looking for, and credit to the kids to react because sometimes you can have a great game plan, but it's not always executed as you expect. Give up the middle, and he's going to be short.
Ellis with the carry. Pickup of about
It's
1.
Logan Ellis again on the carry.
Stopped by the right side of the Husky defense.
Looks like they got the first down.
Oh, they have the
Oh, wow.
Got enough for the first down, so just a gritty effort there to fight for an extra inch or two. It gives St. Clair a 1st and 10 from just outside the 19-yard line. St. Clair puts a slot to the left, single wide out to the right. Back throw, quick throw. I think that's Mike Reed out in the flats, out to the 25 for a gain of about 6 yards. That's a nice pickup on first down again. Talk about getting ahead of the chains.
Fullback leaks out. Nobody sees him. Boom, there it is.
And Mike's done a nice job of the games that I've watched. And I've been
has.
to the games, if not up here as a fan, watching my son play. And he does a nice job when the ball's there, he's catching it.
He does, yep.
So 2nd and 4.
Cooper
from the
Secord
left
out
side.
over the ball.
Quick give. And Northern is there that time for a no gain, it looks like. The move is to a 3rd and 4.
While he didn't make the tackle, Luke Fletcher, 6'3", 250, he's in and around every play. He knows where the ball is.
And he's as I think a lot of people know, he's the marquee player. You know, he's going to be going on Division I, going to Eastern Michigan, my alma mater, next year. And that's probably one of the reasons you see these quick throws so far. Not long drop backs or certain rolling into to him. So it's been quick throws. Now the roll again, a roll away from him.
Oh.
There is a flag in the backfield. And so where it's thrown, it's either going to be a rough in the passer, which you couldn't sell, or is it going to be a hold based on where that flag
Good
was
question.
thrown.
That's right. Well, and then
Ellis's pass intended for number 88, Hunter Richardson.
trying to decide here.
During the play, holding.
Yep, there you go.
Offense,
It's a nice
number
call.
2.
That's going to take him back. On the hold, it's going to take him back 10 yards. So what went from very manageable 3rd and 4, now at a 3rd and 14. Again, not only in the down and distance category, but in the field position category as well. And those are things that, again, you see it at every level, so you can't attack a kid for that. But those are things that do sometimes haunt you a little bit because it's a field position thing as well.
Well, and I think they found out that the short passes may be open because they just don't have time for the long one.
It looks like a St. Clair timeout. It's not their first earlier. I thought they had, or it is their first earlier. I thought it was a timeout, but it was the injury timeout. So they're going to think about it here on 3rd and 14.
Early first quarter chess match.
It never ends, does it?
Does not, no.
Oh, I see. Northern did decline the penalty. Maybe that's one of the things they're thinking about now, but are they going to go for it, or they just didn't have their maybe they didn't have the punt team on and they didn't want to take the penalty. You know, maybe they didn't have their punt team out there yet and didn't want to take the delay of game and back up 5 more yards, because they are in punt formation since Northern did decline the penalty. So that's my guess. Again, I'd have to go back and maybe look at the replay to see who the personnel was out the time.
They got 12.
Now they caught Northern with too many on the field. That might have got them the first down. It should if it was 4th and 4. That's a tough one for Northern when you had the penalty and said, no, we'll go to 4th and 4 because they're going to get them off the field. And
On the play for illegal participation. St. Clair snapped the ball prior to the whistle for the ready to play. We are still at 4th down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if people at home could hear that or not, but because of the timeout and St. Clair having the ball, Northern had the right to get their players on and off the field. And that's something you'll see nowadays in the college game, particularly, where they allow the opposing team for personnel adjustments to get on the field. It's a nice punt and good coverage, but he really did a nice job of staying alive, and he shuck a couple of tackles. You know, again, you watch plays like that sometimes, and if you're a Northern fan, you're saying that's a great run. He did a nice job of breaking a tackle. And if you're a Saints fan, you're saying that's poor tackling. And probably a combination of both. It always depends on what side of the coin you're
It
on.
does. When he changed direction and came back this way and started to bow back, I thought that's never a good sign.
Right. You are correct. Yeah, there are very few players at any level that can give up ground like that and make it turn into a positive. But we got 1st and 10 for Northern on their own 36. Give up the middle.
Whoa.
He's got a crease. Bounces a little to the left, but nice gain of about 8 yards.
Hayden Prone, 5'6", 150, senior. He was pretty quick.
He
There
was
wasn't
very
much
quick.
room there.
Indeed. And nice vision, though. When he bounced it, he saw where the crease was leading. So 2nd and 2. On the same, still on the left hash. And this is one of those downs where, again, once upon a time, this is you're down to take a shot on 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2, but now teams throw so much anyway that sometimes they don't automatically get it on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. It's not a guarantee you're going to get it anymore. It almost looked like the same, but this time
It did.
Continued to go right up the middle, and a really nice gain into Saints territory, down to the 36, I think, St. Clair. So after trying to come out and throwing the ball right off the bat, they found something, whether it's an alignment issue or change of formation, or maybe they just saw something all of a sudden and executing better.
Well, and you know, it's a matter of if you can do one, it opens the other.
You are correct. And so here we go, Northern again, got that slot to the right. Similar look again. St. Clair was a little more ready for it that time. Maybe about a 3-yard gain, it looks like. Maybe 4. About 3-yard gain, so 2nd and 7. And I couldn't see that, I wasn't watching the blocking scheme. I couldn't see if they were trapping anybody on that or if it was just a read and zoning up front.
I thought they were zoning up front on that one.
Same formation again, although this time they're in a pistol in the backfield. Back throw, quick throw out to the quick out. Right at the sticks, but I can't tell if he got it or not. We're going to find out in a minute. Had a little bit of cushion there, but they covered it quickly. Once he runs to the sticks, but comes back to it a little bit to make the catch. That's a real nice open field tackle to stop him just short of the first down. Had that cushion, but a nice job of rallying to the ball and making a real quick tackle. Because sometimes that's what you're banking on the edge is make one guy miss.
That's right. Yes.
And he didn't. So great job by I couldn't see who the corner was out there. Give it back. Nope, he kept it that time. So run that read option that time, and he kept it off the right side and picks up the first down. And again, I haven't seen them at all because sometimes these teams, particularly at this level, it might be a read or sometimes it's a call by the coach from the sideline because they don't have enough reps yet sometimes at that age. If they don't do it enough, you got to get a lot of reps to be able to do that well. So we got a first down at about the 23-yard line. This time he gives it back to Crone up the middle. He's got a crease. Breaks the tackle, and he's into the end zone. A nice run. Nice vision again, and he had a little burst there, didn't he?
He is quick, yep.
And so you can see you can see they pulled two offensive linemen. So I don't know if you necessarily call it, but it's similar to the old counter tray blocking scheme where they bring either the backside guard tackle or tackle tight end. And he just fouls behind and finds that first crease.
He's got good vision.
Yes, he does. And like you mentioned, a nice burst. So the ball was down. It looks like it was down the middle, so that's going to take it to 7-0 with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. So now let's see what St. Clair can do to try to counter this. If not, get in the end zone, at least sustain a drive.
Yes.
Get some momentum for not only against field goal or field position like we mentioned, but sometimes just to get some confidence going for the players as well as the coaches that are calling the plays and get a little bit of rhythm going.
Yeah, because there's a danger of getting really conservative and then just 3 and out, and then it's uh-oh. Absolutely.
And the flip side also is it can happen. Sometimes you fall behind and it wasn't working, so you say, okay, let's abandon it. Let's try to make it all up in one play.
Yeah, we spent the whole week on a game plan. Let's just dump it.
Yeah, there's a big difference between an adjustment and an abandonment. Can't see again who is back there to field the kick. Is that Logan Ellis?
I'm assuming it's Logan because of the
Logan.
tape. Yeah.
But they kick it off, probably punch it out near the sideline, and it bounced. I thought it was going to bounce out of bounds, but looks like St. Clair did recover it right at the sideline where he was tackled immediately.
Looked like the Saints were waiting for it to go out of bounds and then decided,
didn't.
Wait a minute, they're coming down here.
I think you are correct. I think that's exactly what was happening, and they realized I better make a change in my decision. And that's a tough one because if it goes out of bounds, you gain a few yards. Yep. You're out at the 35, 40-yard line, but so St. Clair has a slot to the left with an ISO back, and he gives up the behind to Logan behind that ISO back for maybe a yard.
Gain of 1. Stopped by that
that answers the question about abandoning their game plan. They have not, and I'll give them credit because it's a certainly tempting to do at times. Now the question is, will they adjust? And that's the next step. I couldn't see, was that looked like Dalton Kleeman come off the field with his left shoulder maybe injured a little bit. Does seem to be grimacing a bit. He's going to throw. Kind of broke down a little bit and had to scramble. It did look like he had somebody downfield a bit. Yep. We'll bring up a 3rd and 1 here. Looks like he was looking for Nesbitt across the middle on a post, but he was under duress at the end. He was not going to be able to step into it, obviously. So he probably did the smart thing and tuck it in disaster prevention in that situation.
Gonna have to hurry here, Coach.
Yep, they're gonna have to take a timeout there. They were definitely weren't going to get that off. You know, and that's one of those things. Again, sometimes you watch on TV and you see the quarterback and people saying, "Well, why didn't he throw it?" Well, first of all, when someone's breathing down your neck trying to rearrange body parts, it's not really easy to do that. But part of it has to do with, are you able to step into it and you throw? You can't, standing flat-footed doesn't get you any heat on it. What's up, buddy? What's up? So let's see what they can come up with here on a 3rd and 10.
Last night.
Coming out of this timeout. Again, like you were saying earlier, it's going to have to probably be a quick throw or some type of misdirection like we had seen in previous weeks.
It's going to have to be, I think, Coach, simply because there's not enough time.
Right. And that's one of those things, again, you're trying to get ahead of the sticks early on sometimes. If your game plan is to run the ball and you run on early downs to make favorable down distance on 2nd and 3rd, but if you don't, it becomes pretty easy for the defense to defend. Throwing on early downs is schematically easier because the defense is not ready and the defensive linemen are playing maybe a little more run as well as the linebackers, and they're not going to get so-called pin their ears back and come. But likewise, now if you don't complete, now it's 2nd and 10. So it just comes down to what do you do well and what do you believe that you'll do well.
It's the old risk-reward thing.
All right, so after a quarter of play, it's 7-0 Port Huron Northern. St. Clair's is going to be faced with a 4th and 7 from, I think, their own 30. Again, looking to try to flip the field a little bit. They certainly don't want to give Northern good field position after giving up a touchdown on the last drive.
No, you can't get too far behind simply because then, like you said, then you become one-dimensional trying to catch up.
Ross. I'm the assistant general manager at Magna here in St. Clair. Every day on my commute, I see now hiring signs, including at our own facility. We too are looking for great people to join our team at our brand new facility. We're looking for skilled trades, engineers, purchasing, human resources, leadership, and many more positions. We offer training, development, and a fair wage. We have a facility that is state-of-the-art with good lighting and a focus on your safety. If you want to be part of a winning team, are willing to work hard, contribute your ideas, go to magna.com careers and apply today.
Okay. During that break of action, as we were watching that advertisement for Magna, St. Clair did punt. It was fielded about their 42, or about the Northern 42, and returned across midfield to St. Clair 43, which is exactly the opposite of what I think St. Clair was looking for, and obviously what Northern was hoping for great field position to try to get build on that momentum from last drive. Northern's play clock is running down too. It's down to 3 seconds. They're going to
There we go.
likewise, like
Yep.
we saw a minute ago with St. Clair's side, going to have to take a timeout because they certainly don't want to lose 5 yards on the first down when you're in 4-down territory. 4-down territory when you got to get 10 yards is a lot more manageable than 15 yards. So a timeout you didn't want to have to take, but you know you needed to. So I don't know, Coach, but I suspect that Northern found some success last series with that read option. Even early on, they tried an RPO, but I suspect they're trying to go back to the running game, having success. Sometimes
I think so. Yeah.
Nobody's get too cute when you had success.
The old run, you have to run it till they can stop you.
Yep.
First and 10, Northern at the St. 44-yard line.
Northern comes out again in that 2x2 as I said earlier, and that is when they like to run at one point because it spreads out that defense. Shows what we know. They were getting ready to throw. They put a guy in motion, and he was ready to throw right away.
All start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. Replay first.
Number 77, 6'3", 240. When he moves, you can notice it.
There's no hiding, is there?
No.
So just as we said, they didn't want to get the 1st and 15. They're there anyway. Same formation we saw a minute ago. Ball still on the right hash. And number 2 in motion.
Same play.
Daniel Moore. That throw. He's flushed from the pocket and run out of bounds for minimal gain. Maybe about 2 to 3 yards, maybe 2 yards. Out to the 40, out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So nice job by the St. Clair defense of not only putting some pressure, but also giving him nowhere to throw downfield. He was looking when he started to scramble, and there was nowhere to go. So it brings up a 2nd and 13 for Northern. As I said, from the 46-yard line. Ball on the right hash. They give us off to on the left to Reese Buchanan. Gain of about, looked like about 6 yards down to the 40-yard line.
Like to draw your attention to the scoreboard if you could.
Brings up a 3rd and 7. So again, now they get back to a situation where maybe manageable 2-down territory for them. Similar formation again. They have that offset eye back to the left. Back to throw out to the flats to the left on a quick hitch. And down to about the 23-yard line. Nice pitch and catch on that one,
Nice
Coach.
one.
You can see he's got nice protection back there. Again, like we were saying a minute ago, he was able to step in. Nice stiff arm on the edge. But a little bit of yards after catch, but still minimal damage. He was tackled shortly there afterwards. So ball's on the left hash this time. Again, the ISO back.
There you go.
On the right side. Nice tackle there by Luke Gabriel on a nice tackle for loss there. Bring up a 2nd and 13, it looks like, back at about the 26-yard line. So that's something positive there to try to slow down that momentum. Utilizing that ISO back, but now they're going to roll behind him to get that extra blocker as he's got throwing deep. Two's right. almost batted down, almost had a chance to pick that one off. It was a little underthrown.
Good coverage.
Well defended,
Good
absolutely. The pass was intended for Jacob Kerrigan. But as we said, it was a little underthrown and certainly well covered.
Ryan Pettinger on the coverage. Nice coverage.
Very nice coverage. So bring up a 3rd and 12 here. 3rd and 13, excuse me. A little quick jet sweep off here, or a fly sweep you might call off their right side. Shakes a tackle or two, but still only gets about 2-3 yards. Looks like it's going to bring up about a 4th and 10.
He cut that back inside. I don't think that was the design of the play.
No, I think that no, there's no doubt it was designed to get to the edge, but I think the Saints had it sniffed out pretty well and defended on the edge. As we'll take a look at the replay here. Yeah, he was. That was Logan Ellis already in the backfield where he wanted to get to, and he had nowhere to go, so he just cut back, trying to make something out of nothing in that situation. So here we go, 4th down. Drop back the pass. He's got that quick out, or a hitch out to the edge, but sailed a little high, but also well covered. It was going to be a tough pitch and catch had it been even a little bit more accurate. So a great job by the Saints defense to be able to stop Northern when they were threatening.
Well, and it's not a surprise that the strength of the Saints this whole year has been its defense.
Indeed. And they've defended both, I think, the run and the pass equally effectively.
I think they did,
all year.
Yep.
So St. Clair will take over on their 23-yard line. Slot to the right. Also employing an ISO back here. Quick stab through, and he's going to throw over top. Looked like he was trying to find Jackson Oles on a post, but just a little overthrown. You know, Jackson's a nice weapon out there. He might be on the small side, but very, very quick, and a nice set of hands on him. I mean, when the ball's in his hands, he's pretty electric.
He does, yep. And if he touches it, he catches it.
Indeed.
Yep.
This time, he kind of a stack set to their right, a single receiver off to the left. This time Peyton was flushed out of bounds and just kind of threw it to his left, from his left.
That was a left-handed pass.
Indeed. You know, and I'll give him credit. Whether you like that rule or not, it's made its way into high school now, where if the quarterback is outside the tackle box, he can throw it out of bounds or throw it away as long as it gets to the line of scrimmage. And so give him credit, give the staff credit for repping that in practice, and give him credit for executing. It was a smart play, and live to see another down. So third and 10, not ideal, but better than 3rd and 17.
Yeah.
Just a toss to the right to Logan, it looks like, but that was snuffed off right off the bat. And it looks like maybe about a 2-yard loss. 4th and 11 and some change. So I guess loss of 1 here, 4th and 11. So Ellis again back to punt. Again, no rugby this week.
Nope.
A very quick punt. Going to field it. Catch it in a situation where probably more often than not you would expect a fair catch, but I'll give him credit for courage.
I think it surprised the defender.
I think so too. But a nice job, you know, and that's probably one of the reasons he's a punt returner, because he has no fear back there. But a real nice job of spinning out of that first contact, makes a nice cut, makes 2 guys miss. And again, back to really good field position on the 43, which is about where they was that last time of the time before. It was 42 or 43 if I recall correctly. So here they go, a ball on the 43 on the right hash. Slot out to the left. And they give it this time up the middle again. Back to Mr. Prone. And I'll be honest, and this is not a criticism because there's so many things that go into the decisions you make, but I was a little surprised they didn't go back to that play last series.
Yes.
I didn't see that at all. And that's a nice tackle there, it looked like, by Ben Farkas.
Well, and I don't know that one
tackle.
has anything to do with the other, but they now have a new quarterback, Ty Fletcher.
I didn't see what happened the previous one. I did not notice there had been an
No,
injury.
didn't think there was.
Previously or not, but right back to that.
He's tripped up by number 88.
Out of that pistol,
Hunter
that
Richardson.
read option look or a midline look. It really looks like a midline, which is the same. You know, you can change the names of these over time, but it's double or triple option depending on if they have a third guy to pitch to or not. And so 2nd and 9 here with the slot to the right, single receiver to the left, back to throw. It's going to be a quick throw again, on and out. Tried to throw it out to number 4, Maximus Williams, one of the all-name team members, I think. Named like Maximus Williams, but it was a little overthrown, a little wide for him. So we're going to go to the third and 9 for Northern on the 22, trying to get back on the scoreboard. Can slot to the right here for Northern. Prone set behind the quarterback. And the give is to Prone. He's got another crease up the middle. Now he cuts back to the left. He's going to be in the end zone, but we just saw 2 flags fly, not at the same spot.
No.
So I certainly suspect that was a hold based on where the flag came from and the direction it was thrown.
Well,
Sure
I'll say again, he has speed, but he has great vision.
He sure does. You know, and sometimes, Coach, some of those things when you see that vision, sometimes that's a product of design, though. When a back does his studying and the offensive scheme, and he knows the angle at which maybe the lineman are washing down the linebacker, knows his cut should be to the left or the right based on the blocking scheme.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a combination of vision and a combination of preparation, which is kudos to him. So it was a hold on the play. He had a nice early three, but you could see on Logan Ellis when he came up, he was trying to break that, get off the block, and as he spun, Jersey was being yanked back. And if you grab Jersey in open field like that, it's almost always going to be called. So it backs Northern up a little bit, back to the, they're down at a third, looks like what, about a 13 from the 26-yard line. They go trips left, a single receiver off to the right, and Prone as a single back. He's got some time. He's looking up top.
Ooh.
Had his hands out of it. Was batted out of his hands by number 7, Owen Blank. Nice play.
Nice play. Very nice play.
And it wasn't a bad throw.
Nope.
And it was overall what I would call just a good football play. Sometimes both teams play it well, and one's going to win. And that time, St. Clair won that play. You see, he had plenty of time. He looked around, bounced a little bit, came back and throw right on target.
Right on
but
there.
that was a real nice play. Just knocked it out of his hands. So 4th and 13. Let's see if St. Clair can stand tall again on a 4th down, deep in their own end. Looking to his left, and it looked like it was batted down.
Batted down.
At
There
the
you
line
go.
of scrimmage. I didn't, as I'm watching that play unfold, and they were in a couple of slants from the outside, I didn't see anybody really open. If it was open, it didn't look like he was going to get the first down where he was thrown. There was more red than white, I think, in that area. So it might have actually been to his advantage that it was batted, because Had it been the safety from the middle step in front, which it looked like he was about to, he might have been for the races.
That's right.
So, again, great job by the St. defense to keep this game at 7-0 and give the offense a chance here to mount a drive to end this first half. We'll reverse here to Oles after he going in motion off to his right, come back, but run
there's your number 9, Luke Fletcher.
Run down by Luke Fletcher. You know, you see a big guy running down a little guy, you figure he's going to outrun him, but no, not when he's a Division I prospect. That's a big guy that can run. Nothing wrong with the play
Comes
call.
Across, and then he reads it. Yep.
The play and execution was fine. It just the kid was just a little too fast for him, to be honest with you, at that size. So trips right for St. Clair this time in a little wide bunch. Ellison's gonna roll to his right, it looked like. Doing a little Houdini here, finds some room, scrambles out, gets out to about the 32, but we do see some linen on the on the field. Right in that area where you typically see holding. Maybe not a hold, but
Holding. Offense. Number 55. 10-yard penalty. Replay that.
some start to scramble. Yeah, and that's just the opposite. Like we said earlier, seeing the grabbing the jersey. In that case, his arm was wrapped around the kid's waist, and that's a tough one sometimes as a lineman when you've got the quarterback in the pocket, and all of a sudden he rolls, and you're in a kind of precarious situation with both your hands and your body placement. Doesn't excuse it, but it doesn't make it understandable. Sometimes you're trying to just change direction like that. It looks worse than what actually happens. So we're now at second and a long way. St. Clair second and 24 from their own 12.
They need some. They need to get out of here.
Back. And he again just finds just enough time to throw that out of bounds because he was about to lose a few more yards.
Ellis pressured in the backfield. Pass is incomplete.
And again, there he is, Luke Fletcher putting pressure on him right off the bat. And you can see why he's heralded, because he very, very flexible. You could see his bend, and he was able to get underneath that offensive lineman and make that turn to put pressure on Peyton Ellis that time. And
what you had mentioned before, that Division I speed doesn't hurt.
No, it does not. In fact, one would say it helps. Depending on the sideline you're rooting for, correct? Just going to give a quick give up the middle. I think that's just one of there where you're trying to maybe hit a crease if lucky.
Yep.
If not, use a little clock.
Get some space.
Yep. See who that is that looks like 78, Joey Allant. I can't tell for sure. It looked like a 7 and 8, but I don't want to say for certain. They are doing something with his leg, so he's able to move it. So hopefully, no matter what side you're on, you're hoping that it's just what we would call in a non-medical term an owie.
Cramp.
And he'll be fine whether it's a cramp or just a slight strain, but nothing major. But he is getting helped off the field, so not putting pressure on his right leg. Hopefully he'll be all right. Wouldn't say for the rest of the season, but certainly for the rest of his high school seasons, whether it's next year or whatever sports he plays next. So Luke's back to punt once again. Almost looks like they might try to put a little pressure, and they were putting pressure, and they knocked him down. There's no flag, but he was knocked over by.
Yes, he was.
And he wasn't blocked into him. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have been a roughing. It would have just been, I think, a running into, so it wouldn't have been a first down. But Oh, this is going back to the previous. I couldn't quite see what happened with our lineman on that play. This time at the 41 as opposed to the 43, but great field position once again for Northern, and also great challenge for St. Clair's defense.
It is, and you know, I'm afraid you can only keep the pressure on for so long, and something's going to happen.
Oftentimes that's true, but to give this time to Reese Buchanan, I believe. Bounces it off to the left, which I believe was designed to go. He did have a lead blocker out there. A nice gain of about 7.5 yards. Call that probably 2nd and 3, but 2nd and a short 3, if there's such a term. This ball's on the left hash for Northern. Slot to their right, single receiver to the left. Again, employing that ISO back who's in motion. And they're going to go that way. And that ISO back did make a nice block on it, and that's why he was out there, to look for the first threat to help get the running back out to the edge. And he was able to help Reese Buchanan get there. That was, I think, Luke Ellis that got that penetration, but then was quickly upended.
Got picked off, yep.
By number, is that 3, Daniel Moore. Okay, so first down for Northern. Down at about the 28-yard line. 13 in motion from right to left. Going to give the ball again back to Buchanan.
Trevor Gregg on the tackle. Nice tackle.
You know, and he's been a very formidable defensive lineman since he's been a varsity player here.
Yes.
This is, I think, his 3rd year here with the varsity at St. Clair, and he's been very steady and very physical on the line of scrimmage. That make it 2nd and 8. Got a slot out to the right, single receiver left. Again, they go back. Crone's back in this time. Wiggles himself down, just shy of a first down. Going to bring up a 3rd and 1. That's a nice change of direction between those two backs. You know, it looks like Buchanan, not that he's not slow, but he, I think, brings a little more thud to him. And Prone certainly is a little more, pardon the expression, but prone to those bursts.
And there's a 35-pound difference between the two of them.
Yeah, that's kind of the thunder and lightning combination that you look for, as sometimes offensive coordinators like to have. Okay, so 3rd and 1. Again, the give is to Prone. He's run down from behind a little bit. I think he's going to be short. Looked like he was run down from behind. I couldn't see who that was. I know Cooper Pennywell plays the St. Clair's left defensive end and is often known to run plays down from behind, but I couldn't see who that was. So now, again, another big 4th down for Northern as they're trying to add their lead. This time much more manageable than we saw the last 2 4th downs for Northern as they were trying to convert. 4th and 1. The give is to Prone. He's got a crease this time and down to about just shy of the 15-yard line. And that's going to be a first down. But the clock is running. Down to...
Look like Carter Peterson on the bottom of that pile.
It has been tough sledding though for Northern inside the Saints territory all day today. So I'm sure that's what the Saints coaches are banking on at this point. But Prone finds himself a crease.
There goes the ball.
Fumbles the ball, and it looks like St. Clair recovered in the end zone for a touchback. That's a huge play for St. Clair and a real tough tough turnover to swallow for the Northern side. He had a crease. He was going to get down inside, well inside the 5. And that was,
Ryan Pettinger.
Ryan Pettinger on the recovery. Looks like Luke Ellis with a kind of a tomahawk. My age, remember Lawrence Taylor making that pretty fashionable back in the 80s. That's a nice play by Logan to knock that out of bounds and really save the moment for St. Clair. It looked like Northern, if not on that play, they were close. And to go down 14-0, knowing Northern's going to have the ball to start the second half is a big difference. Now we're talking momentum going into the half. It just gives you a little bit more air on one side and kind of takes the air out a little bit on the other. So the give was to Luke Gabriel for about a 2-yard gain. And I'm sure at this point St. Clair would be happy if they could just run out this clock and not give Northern one more chance to have the ball in their hands, because anything's possible when you have quick kids.
Well, and I think, given the opportunities that Northern has had, this is remarkable for the Saints defense, that from a momentum standpoint.
Absolutely.
An increase in energy standpoint, confidence.
I would agree 100%. And it can be frustrating for the Northern sideline, as they're saying we've really been in the St. Clair end and the entire half, since the exception of the first 2 drives, and to only have 7 points. That can be frustrating sometimes for players and coaches. I'm a little surprised here that Northern has not called a timeout. They have 2 left. I would have thought they'd have called timeout. I mean, they, if nothing else, maybe have a chance on your punt return, get a block, or get a return. But they're content at this point to let the clock run. And there's a 3rd and 5 for St. Clair. Quick stabs. He's got Hunter Richardson over top, and he's got a big crease. He's down the middle, drags from behind on about the 26-yard line. 10 seconds left to go in the half. We see a quick stab from Peyton Ellis, and he sees Hunter Richardson behind the defense and just leads him perfectly. He catch it in stride, which allows him to lumber down the field. Down to
I think Northern got caught up in that. They're just going to kneel down, or they're going to run it into the line and just in the quarter, in the half. I
think you're 100% correct, and give St. Clair credit for playing off of that, to giving that play action look. And then executing it and finding the big tight end. And so now I think there's 10 seconds left. That St. Clair used their last timeout. So they've got 2 options here. It's either a quick throw near the sideline / or an incompletion, or 2 shots in the end zone.
Yep.
I don't think they have the leg here for a field goal. The clock does stop in high school after first down to move the chains, but that doesn't give you much time. Once the change is set, the clock starts running.
You better be on the ball.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tough to do. So let's see what they draw up here. I do suspect they're going to try to get something in the end zone here. Take it, maybe 2 shots. Maybe take 2 shots into the end zone. They've got a slot to the right. They've got Jackson Oles off to the left. Under duress, he's looking for Oles off to his left. Just overthrown him a little bit. That's the case right there, though. The overthrow is okay because it gives you a chance for another down.
Yep.
So with 4 seconds left, barring a penalty, this is likely to be the last play of the half coming up.
Well, and a side note, that was a collision between Logan Ellis and number 9.
I noticed it on the replay as well. And we may have noticed it with our eyes, but I'm sure Logan noticed it with his body.
I think he did. That's one of those, stay off my brother.
And he's a tough kid. He didn't receive the blow. Certainly Fletcher delivered as well, but Logan was, and he's going to be going down for the last play of the first half. And so that's, probably takes a little bit of wind out of Saints' sails trying to get in the end zone, but nonetheless, that was a big play towards the end of the first half after a huge stop for St. Clair.
I think if you're St. Clair, then you should be fired up simply because so many times in that first half they were on the brink of scoring, and for whatever reason, good, bad, lucky, unlucky, planned or not, you stopped them.
Absolutely, and like you said, it could have been 21 or 28 nothing at 7.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Greg Ross. I'm the Assistant General Manager at Magna here in St. Clair. I've spent almost 20 years with this company, and I can personally attest that at Magna you will work hard, but you will be given an opportunity if you're willing to take it. I've been a leader at this division since very near the beginning. I know this team. Our leadership team is committed to listening and driving forward every day towards our goal of world class. Join our team and let's create the future of mobility together. Apply today at magna.com/careers.